Good evening. This is Donald Lee with D Lee Ministries, and you are watching another episode of After Sunday. After Sunday, the Lord still speaks. Look, I don't know if it's morning in your time zone, I don't know if it's afternoon in your time zone, but I want you to know you are in for a treat tonight. Look, after Sunday, the Lord still speaks. It's sponsored by the Social Maximus Network. Do me a favor, even before we get started, hit that subscribe button, hit that alert button, because every time we drop an episode, you will definitely be notified because you don't want to miss the news. You don't want to miss the special guests. You don't want to miss everything that we are bringing. So I have a special guest tonight. She is a business owner. She is a nonprofit organization director. She's a mom. She's a friend. She's a mentor. She is a woman of many, many talents. I am introducing none other than Miss Wendy Morris to you guys. How are you doing tonight, Miss Wendy?
I am doing well, Donald. How are you?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're such a busy lady. You're flying from city to city, coast to coast, doing some amazing things in your community. So we are just honored to steal just a few minutes of your time tonight, and we are just blessed to have you on. So tell the world a little bit about Wendy. Tell the world just a little bit about Wendy.
Well, Wendy is truly an ambitious individual who absolutely finds extreme joy in helping others succeed and be their best selves. So I'm a family oriented person. God is always first, but most definitely I strive to live each day to be a blessing to others.
I love it. And I know that personally because we are communicate on a constant basis, sharing ideas back and forth, bouncing ideas off of each other's head. And you have truly been a blessing in my life. So let's talk about WPM coaching and consulting.
Yes. Well, WPM coaching and consultant. I am a certified life coach and a qualified mental health professional, and a certified substance abuse counselor. So, with WPM coaching and consultant, my goal is to work with individuals as well as organizations to help them thrive and be their best selves. As far as the life coaching, I work with individuals who kind of know what they want to do, but are somewhat unsure and don't know how to get organized or where to start. So, what I do is I work with them. We create a plan, we set goals, and then I am in communication with them constantly to make sure that they are staying on task. I help young mothers and single fathers that want to go back to school. I work with them with filling out applications for college, the financial aid, scholarships, all of those things. As far as with organizations, I like to do a lot of trainings and just coaching and consulting on workplace culture, working on just burnout and stress. A lot of times you see that in the society today in the workforce, everybody's overworked, everybody's burnout and stressed. And so I go into these organizations and work with them on creating plans that will allow them to provide mental health services as well as just outlets for their employees who are working under a high amount of stress.
So let's talk about what you do for excuse me, for what you do for individuals. I love how you said you work with whether it's single mothers or single fathers, you help them get ready for the real world. Will you touch on that for just a second? Because a lot of times people exclude men in helping them out, getting their plan and getting situated. So I love how you included that in your niche, that you not only help women, but you also help men. Why is that so important, especially in 2023, Wendy?
Well, I will say this. I do work with women and men. I do realize that there are more resources for young women than it may be for young men that want to go back to school or that want to start their business. And so, as a woman of God and just as an individual, I want to, like I said, I want to see everybody be their best selves. And so if a young man comes to me and says he wants to go back to school, he wants to get a trade, then I'm going to be there with him every step of the way to work through the financial aid, the college applications, even with WPM coaching, I still work with my nonprofit, Guided by Grace. So if somebody needs assistance with paying an application fee, or if someone needs assistance with um, purchasing books or supplies to go to school, my two businesses, well, my nonprofit and my business, they coincide. So it's just, in today's society, men of color are often left out. There are no resources, and they assume that they don't want to do anything. They have no goals. They have no drive. So with WPM coaching and consulting, it's my job to bring out their passion and figure out what it is they want to do. And some of them don't want to go to school. They want to be entrepreneurs. So I've helped them set up their own LLCs. I have one young man that recently just started his own trucking business. And he's 26 years old. So that's what gives me joy on a day-to-day basis. It's just seeing people living a better version of themselves. But not only that, I understand what it's like to be young and just lost, not knowing what it is that I truly wanted to do. And I was fortunate enough where I was able to have mentors to help me. So it's kind of like me paying it forward. And everything that I do, I don't get a fee for everything. My true passion is helping those. So if I have someone that comes to me with WPM coaching and consulting and they don't have the funds, with Guided by Grace, I'm able to make sure that they can get everything that they need.
So you hit on something, and I just want to dig in for just a second. You talked about passion. You talked about helping individuals discover their passion. Why is that so important, that discovering your passion is just the key to everything? Why is that so important?
When you discover what your passion is, you're going to do your best at whatever it is. And I say that to say this: a lot of us, the norm was to go to school, go to college, get your degree, go find this particular job, but that's not our passion. And so we begin to become mediocre in what we do. And we feel like we have no direction in life. But when you're passionate about something and you discover what your purpose is, you're going to give it 100%, but you're also going to be fulfilled when you do that. So it is very important to find what you're passionate about and make sure you build on that as far as setting goals, and to just develop a map to get to where you want to be using your passion.
That's good. It sounds like that you actually spied on a um, workshop I did last Thursday and Friday with some seventh graders here in the local school district. We talked about purpose, we talked about passion, and once you find your purpose, you find your passion, then the profit actually comes. So you touched on something so powerful about the passion, Wendy. Do you think that many people are afraid to find their passion?
I was, most definitely. I was afraid. And I think a lot of people are afraid to even speak or find out what their passion is because they are worried about what society is going to say. Um, like for me, just deciding to step out and do the coaching and consulting, people look at me like I was crazy. You can't make a living off of that, or you're not going to be able to succeed in that. And so a lot of times we allow society to just put the fire out of what we're passionate about because we're afraid of failing. And so a lot of people just don't act on it because they're afraid of what other people are going to say. And that's when the life coaching piece comes in. And I'm telling them that you have to live and be your authentic self. You have to do what makes you happy, what you find joy about in the mornings when you wake up. And so I constantly drill that in with the individuals that I work with. It's a no judgment zone. I don't care if their passion is planting flowers. Find some way to capitalize off of that, and make it your career. Make it what it is that pays your bills, but you're also finding joy within it.
That's good. So let's go into the organizations, because we're seeing post COVID the great resignation. We're seeing layoffs. We're seeing people just saying, you know what? I'm tired of this 9 to 5. Why are you, why is it that what you do so needed in organizations, Wendy?
It is well, from a personal experience where I currently work, my full-time job, I work in healthcare. And so we've had so many people quit because of burnout. During COVID, it was so stressful, and there were not enough resources provided to employees to help them stay. And with that being said, you had so many people quitting, I mean, impulsively quitting because the stress from the job was too much. And then when you have people that quit, that leaves your your business or your organization short staffed, and then your workplace culture is just diminished, and the morale of your employees go down. So it's important for me to go to these organizations and provide trainings on preventing stress and burnout and workplace culture. It's a double-edged sword because I'm there to provide the organizations with the tools that they need to be successful in caring for their employees, because you can't run a business without your employees. The other thing is, as far as the employers, every time someone quits, guess what? You have to hire a new person, you have to train them, and then that's money that you're losing. So, with that being said, if you go in and provide the organizations and these businesses with particular tools that they need to preserve the mental health of their employees, then they continue to make money, and the employees' morale will go up because they feel like the organization cares. And a lot of times it's just people or organizations just don't know what to do, because it wasn't until recently we started really harping on mental health and focusing on that. It was really post COVID where they really focused on the employees' mental health. And so I'm an advocate for it. I'm a firm believer that if you want your employees to take care of you, you need to take care of your employees.
So, what's a message to CEOs, CFOs, management, executive leadership? What is the message that you will say? Not so much soliciting your services, which we would love them to contact you, but just to get somebody in there to do what you do or on that scale. What message would you give to them tonight?
The message that I would give to them is to listen to your people. A lot of times, people's actions speak before their words do. And so I need for CEOs and business owners and managers to take a step back and just take that hat off for a second and be a regular person and listen to their employees, listen to the staff, hear their needs. And you can also look at their behaviors. If you have an employee that's calling out a lot, or if you have employees that are isolating from like group meetings or events, those are the people you really need to check in on, simply because you don't know what they're going through. I know you have a business to run, but you cannot run a business without people. And so you need to put your people first to make sure that they're okay so they can provide the necessary services that your businesses provide.
You heard it here first from the expert. She said, listen. And speaking on listening, you are listening to After Sunday, The Lord Still Speaks, dropping episodes every Thursday night on the Social Maximus Network. I need for you to subscribe right now. I need you to hit that alert button because we want you to stay connected. Stay connected. Wendy, I'm just enjoying this conversation. I'm enjoying the time tonight. Tell me more about the nonprofit side, because I have a passion, I have a heart for nonprofits myself, being that I operate one. So let's get into the nonprofit work that you do.
Okay, so Guided by Grace was started in 2015. Um, and it started out focusing on just the community and elderly individuals in the community that lacked necessary resources and that needed health care. You know, you have those individuals that fall into the median where I make too much to receive any type of assistance, or I don't make enough to purchase the things that I need. So we started off in that aspect, and I was doing in-home services, providing elderly individuals with their medical supplies, things that they needed. In 2017, my daughter went off to college, and I noticed that a lot of kids were from faraway countries, faraway states, and didn't have the money to go purchase stuff that they need. Once that meal ticket would run out, then just your personal hygiene items or like snacks to keep in your room when the dining hall is closed. So that's when I started Cam's Closet. And with Cam's Closet, what we did was at the University of Lynchburg, and I also did North Carolina A&T. What we did was we created boxes for the students with cereal and personal hygiene items, things that they would need in order to get them through when it was time for them to be able to swipe their cards again. We also provided them with mentoring services. When COVID hit, I noticed that everybody's mental health was at stake. You know, you went from being able to go out and do everything that you wanted to do, and then you went to being just shut up in your room, no socialization. And so we started the COPE program, and with that, we just pretty much hosted a forum where everybody can log in. The Zoom link went out, and we could just talk about how we were feeling and just ways to overcome the symptoms of depression and anxiety and the frustrations and the loneliness. So that program did really well. And then I also have a program where I work with, like I said, single mothers and fathers, where we get them back into school, where we provide them with the resources when they don't have the money to for gas, or they don't have the money to hire a babysitter so they can go to class. So those are some of the things that we provide. I also provide free trainings. I'm a certified first aid and CPR instructor. So what we do is we go into the low income communities, and a lot of times they don't have money to pay for a first aid and CPR class. So I go in and I teach them those skills because a lot of them have young children. I do a lot of volunteering with Head Start and the Head Start parents in the city of Danville, offering parenting classes, bringing awareness on domestic violence. Just Guided by Grace is an organization that is for the whole community. I just don't focus on one individual set of people. So if the elderly need us, then we're going to go and do whatever it is that they need. We have the single mothers that need us, the single dads that need us, then we're going to go and provide them with the necessary resources they need. We also provide food for the homeless. I work in the mental health field, and I also work at a substance abuse agency, and a lot of the individuals are homeless and they don't have food. So what we do is we fix bag lunches for those that actually have a place to live. If they get their food stamps and that runs out, they need food, then it's a part of Guided by Grace's mission to go out and help them.
Sounds like you wear a lot of hats. And it sounds like you do it though with a eager to serve is what I'm sensing, but also a desire to help people become the best versions of themselves. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I think what people fail to realize with some of the people that I work with and some of the people that I serve, I see myself in them. And
Hmm.
so that makes me want to help them. I was fortunate enough that I did become a single mother once I was divorced. And what ended up happening was I was blessed enough to have a village. So with Guided by Grace and even with WPM coaching and consultant, I'm just trying to be somebody's village to help them get to the next level and be a better version of themselves.
So, how can the listeners find you, Wendy, whether it's through WPM coaching or Guided by Grace? Because I know someone listening and watching this want to definitely be a blessing to the 501c3 nonprofit. And then there's someone that's probably going to need your services. How can they find you to get all of the information from you?
Well, I do have two websites. One is for Guided by Grace, and it's www.gbgrace.com. And for WPM Coaching, it is www.wpmcoaching.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, and those are ways they can reach me.
Awesome. Awesome. Listen. I need everyone to find Miss Wendy, Guided by Grace, WPM coaching, because she is doing a phenomenal work, not only in the Pennsylvania County, not even just in the city of Danville, but you heard her mention North Carolina. And I'm watching her. She's going to different places doing trainings, and she is just knocking it out the ballpark. Listen, before I even bring this thing home, you mentioned a daughter in college, and I'm gonna pick on you for a second. You have a daughter that's well, she finished college now, so you have a whole grown child, is what you're saying.
Whole grown child that will be 25 this year and who seems to be following in my footsteps. She just started her own nonprofit last year, focusing on the mental health of children and adolescents.
That's good. And I follow her journey as well. She's doing some great things in Lynchburg, Virginia as well. I'm telling you, you have definitely inspired me to want to be better. And I hope whoever is watching tonight, there was something said on this episode that just want to make you be a better person, whether it's go back to school or whether it's being a better husband, a better father, a better mother, just a better person, because we all need somebody to push us to help us get to that next level. Would you agree there, Wendy?
I most definitely agree.
What do you think? And this is my last question before we close tonight. What do you think holds people back the most?
Holds people
Holds
back?
people back the most from becoming the best version of themselves?
Fear. And I can definitely speak from experience. It's fear because I'm afraid that if I step out and do this, then the people that I associate with will no longer want to have anything to do with me. I may lose friends, I may lose family, the judgment, what if I fail? But you can't let that hold you back. And what we also need to realize is sometimes the people in our life are not meant to go with us to the next journey. And we're holding ourselves back with this fear of losing them when there are greater things that God has for us. And so fear is the biggest thing that keeps anybody back from being their best selves. When I came back home with my 5-month-old daughter, I was a divorced single mom, and I only had a high school diploma. And I was afraid, what will people think? What will people say? She's too old. She has a child. She just need to go find a job. All of those things kept me from being the best version of myself. It wasn't until I said, hey, you can't worry about what people are saying. You have to provide a better life for your daughter. So you have to step out on faith and do what you have to do to provide a better life for you and your daughter, and just be the best version of you that you can be.
And look at you. You have nonprofit, you have a LLC, you still work a regular 9 to 5 right now. Listen, you are knocking it out the ballpark, and you are a true definition of a superwoman. Not saying that that's the title or that's the goal that people should reach for, but I admire you, I commend you, and I encourage you to keep doing what you do. And to anyone that's watching this episode, go after your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, because guess what? Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow isn't promised to any one of us. I mean, we're seeing the news, we're getting messages that people are dying like by record numbers, right? So we must just go forth while we have breath and life in our bodies. Wendy, give a closing thought to my audience, please, please, please. Just drop some fire on them, because listen, somebody is going to take this word and they're going to get to their next step because of you. I'm just believing God for that.
What I would say to your audience is, number one, always put God first. Believe in yourself and remain humble. And if you do those things, there's no limit to what you can do. And I'm a firm believer of that. I'm a living testimony of that. Just God first, go after your dreams, and be humble.
I love it. I love it. Wendy, thank you again for being our special guest tonight. Please, please, please look her up. WPM Coaching and Consultant, LLC, guided by Grace Nonprofit. She's based in Pennsylvania County. So please, please, please look her up. I'm your boy, Donald Lee with D. Lee Ministries. You can find me at www.dleaministries.com. And please, please, please subscribe to the Social Maximus Network on YouTube and follow us on all social media platforms. And as we close, I want to leave you with what I leave you with every week. Love God, love others, but most importantly, love yourself. This is your boy, Donald Lee with D. Lee Ministries, your host of After Sunday. And this concludes today's episode.
Hey, good people, it's your man Shannon Casino. Thank you for clicking the link and joining us on another episode of After Sunday, brought to you by the Social Maximus Network. Make sure you guys subscribe and click the notification bell. Every week on Thursday night, we'll be bringing you new episodes of After Sunday. We'll have new guests and new topics every week. Make sure you guys tune in. I see you.